Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. When this initially came out, I wanted to go see it in the theater, but it wasn't in my local theater very long. It was gone pretty quickly. I was not able to work it out with my schedule to go see it. So then, I think it was sometime last week, I was at the theater and I saw the poster back up for it and found out that it had come back to the theater. I'm assuming for Halloween and stuff like that. So I took advantage of that opportunity. I was able to work my schedule so that I could go see it. My son and I went to go see it a few days ago. And so, it was enjoyable. I liked it. It was fairly decent. Now, Guillermo del Toro, I believe he wrote the screenplay for this. So, it had his touch. It was not directed by him. I don't even remember who the director was, but I had not even heard of this particular series. I found out that it was a book series. I hadn't heard of it until the trailer came out, and someone mentioned to me that it was a book series. So I'm kind of curious now to check out the book series, see if it's on audiobook. I don't know if it's, I have a feeling it's probably a young adult series, but that doesn't really matter to me because there are some very good young adult books that have been written that, are even appealing to adults. So, that's not necessarily a deal breaker for me. But anyway, as far as, so overall, I liked it. I didn't have really any huge complaints about it. But for me personally, it was not the type of horror film that I feel like I would want to see again and again and again, unlike something like Halloween, for example, and Halloween 2018. Those I can rewatch quite often, and I do. And I don't know if it's just because ghost type stories don't really scare me that much. And, I don't know. It's not that the film isn't done well. It's not that the acting isn't decent, but it's just, they're not the type of movie that can keep me coming back for repeat viewings. I typically get more fundamentally scared by things that are more true to life. So like Halloween, let's not count all the other ridiculous Halloweens, but let's just think about, the original Halloween, H2O, whatever. Not H2O, Halloween 2018, although H2O was decent. But to me, that's more petrifying because if you don't count the supernatural nonsense of the later Halloween movies, he's scary because he's a real person. He's not a ghost. He's not a supernatural entity of any type. He's a real person. And to me, that's much more frightening than a supernatural type of horror story. I do like to watch them. They just don't really scare me all that much. However, having said that, there were some fairly creepy moments in this movie. And so, it's not that it was completely uncreepy. It's just that it wasn't anything that fundamentally scared me, but it was fun to watch. Now, the people who played in there, I only recognized two of the actors in there, and that was the dude who played the sheriff and the guy who played the main girl's father. So, these were all pretty young actors. If I know or have seen any of these actors before, their faces just were not cemented in my head or anything like that. But basically, I went into this thinking that it was going to be sort of like an anthology type of thing, that it was going to be multiple stories told. I thought it was going to be something about these people sitting around a campfire telling scary stories, and that we were just going to see reenactments of the scary stories. That was kind of all I thought it was going to be. But it wasn't that at all. There are scary stories in there that are that play out, but it's within the whole framework of the whole, the story itself. It's basically, if anybody doesn't know, it's basically a ghost story overall, and they find this book of stories that this deceased girl had written, and these stories start to come to life within, within their circle of friends and family. So they're trying to figure out how to stop this from happening. It's also partly a mystery type story because they're trying to figure out the history of the girl, that had written these stories, the history of her family, things like that, to try to piece together what they could do to put a stop to these terrible things that are happening, because there's really little that they can do to stop things to stop a story once it gets set into motion. So, and their friends, are taken down, one at a time, and they're trying to, the two main characters, which is the little girl and a guy who's passing through town, that they become friends, and they're trying to very quickly figure out what happens before they get taken. So anyway, yeah, it was pretty enjoyable, and I think if you're a horror fan, you would probably enjoy this film, especially if you like ghost stories. You would really probably enjoy this film. If you're a Guillermo del Toro fan, you would probably like it because, yes, his fingerprints are on this thing, and I do like most of the stuff that he works on. I just like his method of storytelling. So yeah, I think it's something definitely worth a watch. I would recommend it to anybody that likes something like that. If you're not into horror, if you're not into ghost stories, obviously this would be something that you would probably want to avoid. But if you're down for that sort of thing, yeah, go check it out. It's certainly worth it. And if you manage to catch it in the theaters, which at the time is probably out of my theater now because this is the day after Halloween that I'm recording this. So I expect it might not be in many more theaters, if they even came back to other theaters, or if it was just this particular one in my area. I don't know. But I do believe if it's not on DVD yet or streaming yet, it will be very soon, because I have seen advertisements for it, for buying the DVD at Target or Amazon or whatever. So it should be available soon, and yeah, check it out. And I can't think of anything else to add right now, and I've got to get back to work, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for now, you guys. Adios!